We're here with Warren Tenney, Executive Director of the Arizona Municipal Water Users Association, also known as AMWUA. You're a little new to the job, right?
Yes, I am. Started in February of this year after being down in Tucson at Metro Water District for 22 years. But I'm excited to be up here in Phoenix now.
Have you always been in the water business?
For my professional career, yes.
Tell us a little about that.
I've been dealing with water for 24 years. Had the opportunity to stay with Metro Water District for 22 of those years, and at that time do a lot of different activities there at Metro, and being their assistant general manager. But with that position, I was able to also participate a lot in the water community. We were very involved with Southern Arizona Water Users Association and actively involved in working on regional and state issues from the Southern Arizona's perspective. I also had the opportunity to serve on the board of the Central Arizona Project and have participated on other water committees and panels over the years.
What attracted you to natural resources management in the first place?
Well, I literally stumbled into water, and once I got working in it, I just, there was a lot of different opportunities. Obviously, the big one is that water is so imperative and critical to just life in general. But also being in an arid state, how we have managed our water and how we continue to manage our water becomes even more important to our economy, as well as to maintaining the lifestyle that we enjoy here in Arizona.
Did you study water management in school, or?
My degree is in history. I focused on Chinese history as well as American diplomatic history in the Far East.
Oh, that's fascinating. Does that lend anything to water management? Are there Chinese proverbs that related to water that you can recite?
Well, the big thing, I guess, from studying history was you have to be able to read a lot and do a lot of research and analysis about the past. And certainly our history here in Arizona with water continues to reverberate today. The other thing that I learned, focusing a lot on diplomatic history, is it's important to continue to try to pursue diplomacy with all of the various interests that are related to water.
I'm sure it's just as delicate as negotiating peace in the Middle East, isn't it?
Hopefully not quite as complicated, but unfortunately water is pretty complex.
What's the biggest difference between managing water in Tucson and managing water in Phoenix, or is it essentially, are they the same environments?
Well, I think from the municipal perspective, there is more similarities than differences. Up here in Phoenix, you have, AMWUA is consisting of the 10 largest cities here in Maricopa County. They all have different interests, and yet they're all linked together by being here in the Valley of the Sun. And so there's clearly a benefit of working together on water issues. In Southern Arizona, the history and the development of that region and the different water interests has been kind of a little bit different, but mainly in that Tucson was primarily the main city and water provider for so long until about the early 90s. Then you started to have some of the other cities as well as Metro Water District come forward, and that kind of changed some of the dynamics in Southern Arizona. But clearly, one of the lessons I think that is understood in southern Arizona, and certainly has been understood because of AMWUA being in existence for the last 46 years, is the importance of collaborating on water issues. If you're not able to work together and have one voice, you're limited in your ability to really move forward your interests. And water is so important. It's not a partisan issue. It shouldn't be a geographic issue. It really boils down to the importance of us all working together. And that's why I'm real excited about being here at AMWUA, because of AMWUA's long history in collaboration, as well as wanting to continue to push and do even more so of working with these 10 cities, as well as then the municipalities working with the other areas of interest in water, to make certain that we have a strong water future, because that will then ensure that we have a strong economy.
Now, it seems as though you've arrived here at a critical, at a moment of change, certainly. You're replacing an iconic water figure in Arizona, Kathy Ferris, as director here, and you're coming in the midst of an epical drought. Does that put a lot of weight on your shoulders?
Well, I certainly take seriously the responsibility of being able to, work on the successes of the past and to forge ahead with the issues that are before us. As you mentioned, we're dealing with issues of drought and the impact that has, particularly on the Colorado River, and the looming shortage that will eventually be declared. It's just a matter of when. And so there's a lot of issues to work on. That's part of it. And then there's also the issues internally that Arizona as a state needs to keep working on, to make certain we continue to hold tightly the sound water management that we have had since 1980.
Speaking of drought and your role as executive director here at AMWUA, what role do the cities play in dealing with drought? What's their primary role in that?
Well, certainly their first responsibility is to their customers, to make certain that the population here in Maricopa County, you take all of the AMWUA cities, and we provide water to 51% of the state's population. And so they're doing a great job in preparing. That's one of the things that we have done so well here in Arizona, is to be preparing and making the necessary investments. That's something that we have to keep continuing to do. We can't just rest on the laurels of our past success. And the cities certainly aren't resting. They're looking at what their needs are and preparing for the possibility of a shortage on the Colorado River. And one of the things that is really positive here, and that's important for the residents in Maricopa County to understand, is that the cities have prepared well. We don't rely solely on the Colorado River. We have they have robust water supply from the Salt River Project also, and they have taken other measures of storing water for a dry day, and doing other preparation, along with the cities have done a great job of pushing conservation and emphasizing the importance of using water efficiently and wisely.
Cities are facing a narrow path to follow in the course of this drought. Cities in Arizona certainly rely on economic development and the sort of growth that comes along with that, while at the same time imparting the need for water conservation to their citizens, and to assure them that they're good stewards of that resource. how do they tread that line? How do they follow that path? That's got to be a difficult thing for cities these days.
That is a challenge, and yet I think it's important for us to continue to put forward the message that the cities are doing all they can to prepare, to plan, and to invest in their infrastructure, as well as other infrastructure capital projects that will be needed in the future. Certainly, because we live in an arid state, we need to use our water wisely. And it's important to continue to put forward the message about conservation. Conservation alone will not fix any future projected deficits between supply and demand. Here in Maricopa County, I think we're set for quite some time. We've done a good job. There's other parts of the state that will need to be addressing this a lot sooner. And so it's important that we all work together and find ways to make certain that as a state as a whole, we're able to show that we're preparing well for the future and doing all that we can to prepare and invest in that future.
Well, that is a good segue then into asking you about the State Groundwater Act and about what reforms, if any, you think are appropriate now for that. It's been in effect since 1980. It's had a dramatic effect on the state's water resources, but it's been a long time since that was enacted. Does it need change?
I think it's important to keep emphasizing the benefits that we have gained from the Groundwater Management Act. Arizona today would not be the robust state it is, and the potential to be even a more robust state, if we did not have the Groundwater Management Act in place. We took a huge step forward in saying that we're going to protect our groundwater. We're going to avoid having problems with subsidence. We're going to bring in renewable supplies to the large metropolitan areas of central Arizona. And we're going to work hard to have effective conservation measures in place so that that water is always used wisely. And a huge message also has been that we've been able to demonstrate that as we grow, we have the water for that growth. I think it's important that we continue to make certain that whatever actions we do in the future does not move away from that basic foundation that we have built successfully on. It can be tempting to say, okay, over time, that was a long time ago, maybe we're okay to weaken a little bit here or whatever. That can be a dangerous path to go down. I think what's more important is to look at, is there areas that we could strengthen? Are there opportunities to strengthen what we've already been doing well? To make certain that water is, what can we all do to do better to make certain that water is recharged and recovered more closely in hydrological areas? What can we do? And this is something that we all will have to, can improve better on. What else can we do to make certain that when growth is, is there other ways to make certain that growth, as it comes along, that we do have the water for that? What can we do now to start strengthening that we are going to continue to have renewable supplies? It took a long time to get the Central Arizona project developed, authorized, and built. Are some of our other future supplies going to need just as long? Based on history, probably. Will it be exactly the same type of projects? Maybe not, but whatever it is, it's going to take time to get folks to rally around. So I view that it is important to acknowledge and continue to emphasize how we have benefited from the Groundwater Management Act, and to look at ways, can we strengthen and protect our future, our water, so that we are protecting our future. I always like to say, if you have a strong water management like we do right now in Arizona, it will help us in the long run for our economy. It's water that fuels our economy here in Arizona. And because we have had sound water management, we have the potential to be even better and keep moving forward. But if we weaken that, I worry about if we're going to have that future.
Very good. I've just got one more question, and it's a particular favorite of our executive producer, Martin Stiles. He asked us if we would ask you if you could magically fix one water resource issue in Arizona right now with your Harry Potter wand. What would it be? What would you think to be the most important water resource fix for you right now?
Well, the most important water fix would be if I was able to control the weather and get more snowpacks in the Rockies to help the Colorado River. But since we're not quite able to control the weather yet, I'm willing to keep rolling up my sleeves and working on what needs to be done to look for additional augmentation efforts, as well as to make certain we're prepared well for any shortage that comes on the Colorado River.
Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.